In the cold stillness before dawn, the city of London lies wrapped in fog, its gas lamps glowing like faint candles against the encroaching dark. Death has long been a companion here, an old friend in narrow streets and overcrowded slums. But for some, death is not an ending, it is a beginning. This is the hidden world of the resurrectionists, men who made their living by stealing the dead. Their trade fueled the rise of modern medicine, and their shadows stretched across every graveyard, from Whitechapel to Edinburgh. Today, we walk step by step through the daily life of a Victorian grave robber, a man who moved between worlds, feared by the living and needed by surgeons hungry for knowledge. The day begins not at sunrise, but at sundown. A resurrectionist sleeps through the daylight hours, hiding in cheap boarding houses or cramped tavern rooms where he will not be recognised. By early evening he rises, dresses in dark woolen coats and heavy boots fitted with cloth wraps to muffle footsteps, and pockets a short knife for cutting rope, canvas or the occasional restraint. He straps on thick gloves, sometimes leather, sometimes waxed, to ward against soil, infection, and the cold weight of his nocturnal work. Some wear scarves across their faces to avoid recognition. Others use soot to dull the shine of their skin. In this era, to be known as a body snatcher is to be hunted. Preparation begins long before a shovel strikes the earth. Information is everything. Resurrectionists gather in taverns, working among the gossip of undertakers, grave diggers and hospital porters. They learn which funerals have taken place that day, which bodies were young, healthy, and suitable for anatomical study, and which graveyards lack the protection of watchmen or iron mort safes. Every detail matters. A fresh corpse is valuable. A decomposing one, almost worthless. As the sun sets fully, they gather their tools, long-handled shovels, wooden spades that make less noise than metal, iron hooks and thick sacks or canvas wraps used to transport the body, a lantern with a shielded flame casts only the smallest circle of light. In the distance, church bells toll the passing hour. It is time. Graveyards in early Victorian Britain are unsettling places. The ground is uneven, churned by decades of burials. The stones lean like crooked teeth. Fog rolls through the tombs, muting all sound. But danger is everywhere. Volunteer watch societies patrol the grounds, armed with truncheons and pistols. Some graveyards employ large, aggressive dogs. Others have traps or tripwires that alert nearby wardens. And then there are mort safes, heavy iron cages locked over fresh graves to keep resurrectionists out. Yet even these can be bypassed with enough time and skill. A resurrectionist rarely works alone. In groups of 2 or 3, they move silently among the stones, counting their steps, whispering only when needed. At a chosen grave, they begin by clearing the topsoil. They do not exhume the coffin fully. That takes too long. Instead, they dig only at the head end, creating a narrow trench just wide enough to reach the coffin lid with a hook. By lantern light, they work like ghosts, turning soil, shushing each other, listening always for the snap of a twig or the clack of a watchman's boot. Once the wood is exposed, the lid is cracked open with a crowbar. The smell of earth and decay rises, but they are used to it. A rope is slipped around the corpse's chest or under the arms, and with coordinated heaving, they lift the body through the narrow opening, disturbing as little soil as possible. Clothing is stripped and discarded. Anatomists are interested only in the body, not the garments. The corpse is wrapped tightly in canvas and placed in a long sack. The entire process may take 15 minutes if done well. Now comes the most dangerous part: escape. Moving through the night with the weight of a man over one's shoulder is slow, clumsy, and loud. Watchmen often lurk near graveyard gates, so resurrectionists find alternative exits. Broken fences, holes in stone walls, or narrow alleys. A single cough or misstep can doom the entire team. If caught, they face imprisonment, violence from angry mobs, or even death. But if they succeed, the reward is substantial. A fresh, healthy body can fetch the equivalent of several months' wages. The delivery usually happens before dawn. Medical schools and private anatomy rooms operate behind locked doors, their windows shuttered. Surgeons and professors wait inside with coin in hand. They do not ask where the body came from. They do not look the resurrectionists in the eye. They simply count the payment, inspect the quality, and carry the corpse to the dissection room. It is a transaction devoid of ritual, morality, or sentiment. Knowledge has a price, and these men are willing to pay it. By sunrise, the resurrectionists have vanished back into the alleys, returning to cheap lodgings to sleep away the day.